1,000 words, language crossing.
In our game, 1000 Words, Language Crossing, the teacher will play the role of the mediator.
In reference to the whole school approach from CALD students, the concept of partnership can be used throughout the engagement of parents. The game gives room to reach out to parents and seek their advice/knowledge on which words are of cultural importance or value to them.
The students will be introduced to the game by giving them a brief context on what language is, how language is being affected, stereotypes of language, and the application of language in education through diverse social justice learning.
Through the design process of our game, we found that it can be applied and simplified depending on the level of the class and its access to resources. For example, teaching in a rural area with minimal resources versus teaching in an urban area with greater financial means.
Students are required to go home and research a word specific to their own linguistic diversity or the language allocated to them by the teacher. The purpose of this is to try and have some differentiation. For example, if there are 28 kids who speak Vietnamese, there is no point of having 28 Vietnamese words. Instead, you would allocate them different languages such as Spanish, Hindi, or Cantonese. The students are then required to draw an image relevant to the word chosen to present it to the class.
The presentation must have a drawing, the word written in the original language, and English translation of the word if needed. It may also include a maximum of 3 tips. The intention of the drawing is to have a visual representation for other students in the class.
The aim of this part of the game has also been highlighted through the whole school approach for CALD students. In the reading by Bright, Burton, Liu and Young, 2013, it is stated that it is critical that culturally and linguistically diverse students are engaged in sustainability education so that in future, a more sustainable way of life can be realised within Australian society. From this statement, we can further highlight the importance of increasing the awareness of different languages and their cultural appropriation. This is achieved by giving students the chance to engage in exploring different languages as well as sharing their own linguistic diversity.
The next part of the game can be conducted in pairs or in groups with a maximum of 4 students. The teacher will have a set of cards that have the name of different languages written on them.
The students will then attempt to guess what language the writing presented is in. This part of the game incorporates the charades-inspired aspect. Students will also attempt to use a technological device to find another image that interrelates or corresponds with the image presented. This image may be specific to the language they have been allocated. The teacher will then go around the class and have students present their chosen image.
In Greek,
Fizzani caffè.
Fizzani cafe. And then that's the coffee cup, the Greek style coffee cup.
After the guessing part of the game, the student would provide a few sentences to his or her peers that explains why the chosen word is important or significant in the culture or language.
The end of the game highlights the modelling behaviour, also evident in the whole school-based approach. Bright, Burton, Liu and Young, 2013, state that teachers, peers and school leaders must consistently display and normalise values and behaviours as students learn practically rather than simply being told what they should value.
Therefore, by having a game and approaching linguistic diversity and discourse in an indirect manner, the game attempts to normalize the use of different languages, address the value of linguistic diversity, and contradict evident stereotypes. This allows students to become familiar with linguistic diversity and overcome the idea that different languages may be foreign and negative.
The game we have created can be used for a range of key learning areas. The main KLA we focused on was language backgrounds other than English from Year 7 to 10. Although interestingly, we found that the game could be easily adapted to English, drama, arts, history and technology by changing the focus of the images that needed to be researched.
The social justice issue we are addressing in our game is linguistic diversity and the impact of white discourse on emerging multicultural and multilingual identities. Diaz 2015 highlights that in Australia over 19% of the population who are over 5 years of age speak a language other than English at home, page 111. With this statistic, linguistic diversity is imperative among our growing youth in creating a culture of understanding amongst the masses.
Unfortunately, linguistic diversity is on the verge of extinction as English has become the lingua franca for most countries around the world. This highlights the concept of white discourse as being the normative discourse, decreasing the use of bi- and multilingualism in many homes.
The theoretical frameworks linked with our social justice issue is critical race theory and whiteness theory. Critical race theory is a framework that attempts to unravel the unequal balance of power between whiteness and people of colour. Folger, Jones Diaz, and Ullman, 2015. Furthermore, the critical race theory reveals how normalizing discourses of whiteness are often legitimatized in institutional policies, politics, procedures, discourses, and everyday social practices. For Folger, Jones Diaz, and Ullman, 2015. This concept addresses how there is an unequal power relation between languages, and English is often emphasized as dominant, natural, and normal compared with non-white languages.
Our game aims to minimize the concept of the racial hierarchy that is dominated by white discourse. The whiteness theory is based on the construct of privileges based on an individual's racial identity. This includes linguistic diversity, as many bi-multilingual families in Australia hold the impression that the mother tongue is an impediment to their children's educational success and economic advancement, and as a result prefer to speak English only to their children, in hope that it will increase their chances for future success.
The aim of the game is to counteract the theoretical frameworks and provide students awareness of multiculturalism and multilingualism evident in Australia. Students are expected to learn and to respect and be open-minded by adapting language and speech tactics and discourse that are commonly found in Australia. This is also evident through the adaptation of the whole school-based approach throughout our game.